Hello everyone and welcome to Gamesplaning! Now, we haven't had an episode in a while, so I thought why not make an episode on the new mode in CSGO, Danger Zone. For those of you who do not know what Counter-Strike Go is, Counter-Strike Global Offensive is a first-person shooter that is competitive multiplayer, and you play as two different teams. You play as the counter-terrorists and the terrorists. The terrorists are supposed to plant a C4 at two different bomb sites and make it go off, or kill all the counter-terrorists. The counter-terrorists' goal is to make it so that the terrorists don't successfully plant the bomb and let it go off, or kill all the terrorists. It's quite simple, it's quite simple in that sort of way. The format is quite simple. You have some clear objectives. Obviously, the game is a lot more advanced than that, than it sounds when you just explain it like that, but that is the basic gist of it. So, they recently made a Battle Royale format, kind of. Now, this isn't your regular old Battle Royale where you have 100 players on a massive map. No, they made quite the big map, like considering Counter-Strike. But the map is only populated by 16 players, I think the max is. It's 16 or 18, I don't really remember. And those guys are supposed to kill each other. The last one standing wins, as in all Battle Royale games. Now, this game introduces a lot of interesting features, though. With Counter-Strike's very robust and responsive kind of shooting already, the game becomes quite interesting. They have been able to focus a lot more on different things surrounding the Battle Royale format instead of just making a game that has good gunplay and shooting, which is the case with most other Battle Royales because they don't have a game to base it on. So, what I really like in this game is that weapons are, well, they're not rare really. Like, you find them like a lot, but it takes a while before you get any good weapons. You start off with pistols usually. Usually your first fights are with pistols. Now you have this kind of tablet thing where you can you can order things from Amazon basically. Like this drone just comes and drops off this stuff, as you can see here. But it is kind of an interesting idea because it's like, oh yeah, you can order ammunition or health, things like that from the drone. The problem is everyone can see the drone. People can shoot down the package from the drone and get it for themselves, or they can just follow the drone and find you easily because yeah, you can see the drone flying over there. But I kind of like the idea because that makes it so that, oh yes, you were unlucky and didn't really find a weapon. Well, you can just order it from a drone. You can order a basic pistol from a drone, then you have something to defend yourself with. Now, most weapons that you find are they're actually in these kind of boxes. You can find pistols lying around, but usually they're in these little boxes. And some of those boxes can't be broken with your fists only. Like this one here. You actually need a weapon, either a melee weapon or any shooting weapon. Any sort of bullet shooting weapon to break them. And that makes it so that you can't really just find, oh yes, this is a box for SMGs, so I can't really take it in the beginning. I need to find other weapons to break it with, to begin with. That makes it, like, I kind of like it, because it sets the pace quite well for the game, because it becomes a lot more about, you can't just kit up to the best kind of gear and then go fight. You start off, like, with those shitty pistols, and you have to get good at using those as well, instead of just focusing on the very good like ARs, things like this. That's like one of the things that I really never liked about PUBG. I never felt that the pistols had a place in that game, because you always find weapons that are better than the pistols immediately. So you don't really want them because they're really bad compared to the other weapons. In this, you're actually forced to use the pistols for the early game. I really like that. I also, what I think is very interesting compared to other Battle Royale games is the lack of ammo a lot of the time. When you find your weapon, you don't have a lot of ammo. You usually have like 7 or 9 bullets, something like that. If you find an SMG, it's a bit more, maybe like 15 or 20 bullets. And you have to make do with that. Like, you have to be careful not spending your ammo on unnecessary things like taking random pot shots at people. Like, you have to be sure that you're going to hit. Well, you don't have to unless you want to run out of ammo. But you find these kind of ammo stations. And they take a while to empty. You don't just pick them up immediately, because you have to sit there holding E at them with the weapon that you want ammo for. And you'll refill the ammo for that weapon. And it kind of gives it this more of like survival game feeling as well. You know, in those classic survival games where you only have like, oh yes, I've run out of bullets, I only have 5 bullets left, and I got 15 zombies gunning for me. This time it's, oh well, I have 7 bullets and there's a player downstairs that wants to kill me. Real bad. Like here. Now that was just bad of me, I should have reloaded before he got up, but you get my point. So yeah, I really like the concept of this game. Now, obviously, I guess there are some downsides to it. Or, well, downsides is a strong word. There are some differences that I don't like personally. I feel like a lot of times it is a bit RNG based sometimes. If you start at a place where there are a lot of enemies around you, if you like drop at a place that doesn't have any weapons, you are probably screwed. Like, usually someone finds a pistol like kind of early, and they'll kill you if you don't have any weapons yourself. Now obviously that is the kind of thing that happens in PUBG and Fortnite as well, but it is not as usual. The way they counteract this in this game is that when you drop into the game, you actually get to choose the zone where you want to land. So kind of like in Ring of Elysium, for those of you that played that. You get to choose an area, like, okay, here I'm going to land. No one else can spawn on the exact same area. They can spawn like kind of next to you, but not exactly where you spawn. That makes it so that you have a bit of some room to play with when it comes to like early game aggression, because obviously a lot of the gunplay in this is based on, like, if you're really good, like, as everyone that plays Counter-Strike knows, if you're really fucking good, you can do well with just a pistol. Like, that is fine. But for those of us that are not as good, I am not a good Counter-Strike player. I used to play it a bit, like, but even when I played it, it wasn't a lot compared to most people. So, like, I kind of know what I'm doing, but I'm not good at it. I have an idea of what I am supposed to be doing, but I'm not good at it. But yeah, I think the RNG-based kind of losing, I think that is sometimes, like, I find it annoying when it's like, oh yes, well, I dropped, like, the thing is, like, it happens, in PUBG, it's like, you know that you're going to a place where you can easily get fucked. Okay? You know that you're going to a place where there will be a lot of people and you can easily die there because they'll find weapons before you. In this, it's more like, I can drop like in a random position, and if I'm really unlucky, I won't get a weapon. I can order one in with the drone, but I have to gather some money to do that, and everyone will see where I ordered it. And if they are smart and follow that drone, they will find me before I've gotten the weapon and reloaded it. So that is like one of the problems that I've seen, but obviously not a massive problem. Like, that is just, you know, it's about luck, and every game has to have luck in some sort of way, in that sort of way, when it comes to battle royales. Now, what I also find kind of interesting in this game, because they've designed it so that there is like an early, a mid, and a late game, like, quite obviously. So like, the early game, it involves pistols, it involves shotguns and SMGs. Then the mid game is more like, yeah, you have these shotguns, you have these SMGs, you have good amount of ammo to them, so you can actually fight a bit, fire a bit more than just like, if necessary, and when you're sure that you'll hit. But at the late game, they start making drops, kind of like all other battle royales, where it's like, oh yes, a drop is coming, but a lot more of them. The thing is, you can't get assault rifles and sniper rifles unless you gain them from these drops. Not what I've seen, at least. I haven't found any of these weapons without going to drops. And that makes it so that, like, yeah, you can risk it, going for one of these drops, get an assault rifle that doesn't really have a lot of ammo, but they have a good consistent damage. Like, compared to the SMGs, they're obviously better, like, damage-wise, things like this. But that obviously means that you have to trade out this SMG, maybe, that you've been gathering ammo for it the entire game. And all of a sudden you have this AR instead, more damage, but you have like 20 bullets. Again. So it's kind of interesting in that sort of way, because it becomes like kind of a gamble at that point. It becomes like, okay, can I gather enough ammo for this weapon to actually make it worth switching? Should I just stay with my SMG? Like, the SMG isn't too bad, obviously. The most of the weapons are like they're kind of even. No weapon is really bad, I feel. Like, most weapons are useful, but obviously there is a difference to like ARs and things like that. Now, I think the biggest interesting difference I find is that the weapons that you can order in from your like iPad, whatever kind of thing, they are always randomized. Like, in the sense that, yeah, you always have a pistol, you always have like an SMG, and then you usually have like a sniper rifle if you're really fucking lucky and get rich. But they are always randomized. So like the pistol that I can gain, sometimes it can be a super fucking good pistol. Other times it can be like, oh yes, well, this is the shittiest pistol you've seen in the world. But you can order it because you need a pistol. And the same with the SMG. But yeah. I think that are I just basically just dumped my thoughts onto this game instead of like doing it kind of set up, because it's otherwise I try to set it up a bit, but with this I feel like it felt just better dumping my thoughts, what I think of it, because it's not really a gamesplaining on an entirely new game or anything like that. It's more of a gamesplaining on an episode or on a DLC, let's say. And yeah, that's what I think about it. Now, the map, I feel, could be a little bit bigger, but that's maybe because I'm like a PUBG player. I kind of like bigger maps. Being able to get my distance, see my enemy like quite early so that I can set up, instead of just like, okay, I just have to accept that I found this guy randomly in the forest. If I'm lucky, he hasn't spotted me, so I can get some free pot shots on him, but otherwise it's usually like you both spot each other at the same time and it's the one with the best aim, and I don't win that, because I suck. But yeah, so far, really like it. I feel like you can do well in this game without being super good at the shooting. Obviously, the shooting is required in the late game, like when you get down to like 2 or 3 players. You have to be good at the shooting, but you can get quite far just from like being sneaky, successfully like avoiding people and things like this. Ooh, damn. Now that is obviously a thing in all battle royales, I guess. But yeah, to my last point that I forgot to mention, basically, is the objectives that they added. Because they didn't have to like make an entirely new game, they've actually developed the idea a bit. So you actually can find these random objectives that give you stuff. I really love that. I love that. And there is a lot of things to use, like you can have breaching charges, you can have C4s that you can plant, things like that. And also obviously the different objectives. Now, different objectives can be like, oh yes, you find a hostage that's tied up. You can bring him to one of these boats and you'll get money for it. Or you can blow up these safes that I just like did a while ago. But yeah, I really like that. But I hope you found it interesting, because I do. And go down, subscribe, like, comment what you think. and I will see you next time.